So the Eibishter gave us a day of Shabbos to rest, to daven, to connect with the Eibishter. To Shabbos is the Yom Hashem, and in order to help us out, Hashem said we can't do malacha, or we shouldn't get distracted. Sometimes it gets a little bit hard for us. We need to get some things done, so we try to find some eitzes. Sometimes we'll try to ask a guy to do things, or sometimes maybe people will try to see if they could get a child to do something for them on Shabbos. So the shaila is, are all these things iskahalten? Is it okay to do these things on Shabbos? So we're going to focus on the dinim of ketanim. Could you have children do things for you on Shabbos? What are the typical cases that people usually like to do? Well, usually either having the light switch turned on and off, having a child do that, or going to shul, having a kid carry a backpack to shul.
We're talking about normal, not like sakanas. I mean, normal things, not like sakanas.
Yeah, there's no sakanas nefasha. It's regular day. So is this iskahalten? Is this okay? So a lot of times people always think, what's the issue with having a kid do a malacha for you on Shabbos? We always think that the issue is chinuch. You have to even chanech the kids. But there's a big issue that a lot of people are not aware of. That chinuch is the smallest issue when it comes to kids doing malacha on Shabbos. The biggest issue is that there's sometimes, regardless, forget about chinuch. Sometimes there's an issur deraisa to make a child do malacha for you on Shabbos. Telling a kid to turn on the light, making a kid turn the light bulb on Shabbos could be issur deraisa. How so? So there's an issur, the garden in Vamis, Naf Kuf Yud Amud Aleph, learns out from the pasuk Leisachilon, Leisachil Dam, Leisachilon Dam, and also by Shkotzim Ramashim, it also says Lashon Leisachil. And by Tumas Koyanim, it also doesn't say Leisachilon, but there's a Lashon, you shouldn't be Matame the Koyanim. The Gemara learns out that doesn't just mean that you yourself shouldn't eat these things and become tummy. It means that you shouldn't make children. You shouldn't feed something usher to children. And from here we learn how to call Teira Kula, that for a child, for an adult, even if it's not your kid, it could be someone else's child. To feed a child something not kosher is an issur deraisa for the adult. Forget about chinuch. So to on Shabbos, giving something to a kid and telling him to carry for you on Shabbos, this is Rishus Rabin. It's an issur deraisa for the adult.
In other words, it's exactly sakasa. It's exactly the learning from a pasuk.
It's an issur. Yeah, so it's issur deraisa. Making a cut and do something for the adult is issur deraisa.
Space you say on a pasuk lo sochal.
Lo sochal. Lo sochal dam. Yeah. So this is in the first Maramakin. Alter Rebbe says in Simshim Gimel and Sifhei. Alter Rebbe says, "Lis beis loy issur biyadayim, to feed a issur take child, asur l'chol adam min ha'Torah. It's issur min ha'Torah. Afilu einei bar havana klal. Even if the kid is 1 day old, you give him to drink something not kosher. It's issur deraisa. Shenera leisechlum, but pirsha chachamim leisachilum lektanim. Says you should not eat, and the Chacham Darshan you shouldn't feed it. Va'afilu dvarim hasur midivrei seifrim. What if the thing you're feeding them is only a issur derabanan? So still, it's asur lahachiloi, afilu hutzarich lekach. So even if it's only issur derabanan, there's still the issur leisachilon midrabanan. You're not allowed to give it to him. Va'afilu hu chayla, afilu hutzarich lekach, even though the kid needs it, va'afilu hu chayla, and even if the kid is sick, kol she'ein b'sakana, as long as there's no sakana, it's asur to feed it to him, k'meisha asur b'gadol, just like an adult can't eat it. You're not allowed to cause a child to be accustomed to being a Chalal Shabbos or Yom Tov. Even something which is only asur midarabanan.
Or the kid doesn't know,
The kid doesn't know. Yeah, the kid could be
Alright, I just want to say the last part is more cooler because it says asur lahargila. So lahargila, if it's dvar masur mishum shvus, so maybe if you do it one time, you know what I'm saying?
No,
I
so
just want to be l'chalad.
Right, no, so
other things he said it's asur.
The lashon lahargila, some of first in the Prima Gatan pages, that means to tell him, as opposed to feeding him. Tell him to do malacha.
And also, like,
and before he says he's giving a dogma. But so the big news over here is that usually, say we think that the issue with having a child do something for you on Shabbos, doing a malacha, is a question of chinuch. You have to even chanech the kids. But the chinuch is the smallest issue. Alter Rebbe says over here that there's an issur deiraisa to make a child do malacha for you on Shabbos. So telling a kid to carry something for you on a Shus HaRabin is the adult is doing it. It's issur deiraisa. What's the difference if he's doing it or you're doing it? It's still issur deiraisa.
It's not the right chinuch.
And it's issur deiraisa. You didn't even say anything.
it's like a few days. It's like a few days.
So the Rashba doesn't. The Alter Rebbe talks over here about making the child doing it, feeding him something. What about telling him to do something? So the Alter Rebbe doesn't say klar, but the Rashba and the Shilta Givoyim brings down from the Piskei Rid that even to tell a child to do a malacha to carry something for you on Shabbos is also issur deiraisa. It's also included in the issur deiraisa of Leisach Chilon. And so and if it's only issur derabanan, so there's issur derabanan of Leisach Chilon. So this is regardless how old the kid is, regardless if he's a gil chinuch, regardless if it's your child or someone else's child, it's also. So all the is having a kid turn a light on or off. So turning a light on, especially if say incandescent bulb, it could be issur deraisa, telling a child to do such a thing, and turning it off, even though it's machshin sechel gufa, but I'm saying it's still usher. You're not allowed to tell kids to do such things. And giving a kid a briefcase to carry on Shabbos and Shul is also like their usher. Even if the kid is like you're giving him something to carry, it's also.
Giving him a briefcase to do what? I didn't hear you.
Giving a child a briefcase to carry the Shul on Shabbos is weiter usher because you're not allowed to make a child do malach on Shabbos.
What do we consider? What ages would you say a child?
Regardless, even 1 day old.
Yeah.
This is because a lot of times we think the issue is chinuch. We think the issue of having a kid do malacha for us, turning off light bulbs or carrying things to shul, is the issue of chinuch. But that's a misconception because chinuch is the smallest issue over here. Regardless of chinuch, before chinuch even comes into the picture, there's an issur deiraisa to make a child do issur. Nothing to do with chinuch. The kid could be 1 day old. You're not allowed to put a bag of chatnez on a child which is 1 day old. You're not allowed to feed him anything. It's issur deiraisa. So and if it's an asr min darabanan, so there's an issur darabanan of leisach chilon. So this is regardless of chinuch. So the next shayla is what if the kid doesn't do it, you don't tell him to do it, but the child does it on his own. Right? You're holding the kid in your hand and you pass by the light switch and you stand there hoping for him to hit the switch. So let's say before we get into the issue of chinuch, let us assume there's no chiyuv of chinuch. Either you're not his parent or the kid is not old enough and he was didn't reach the age of chinuch. So this would be permissible only if the kid doesn't know that this is what you want him to do. If the kid knows, he knows the routine that Tati holds him by the light switch because he wants the light to be turned off, and he's doing it for Tati and he's doing it for his father, not just for his own pleasure, not just for his own fun. That's also an issue.
Right. But the kid doesn't know if it's an issue or not, or I said he has no clue. He just want to make his father happy.
But it doesn't matter because he's like your shliach, just like you can't have a guy do melacha for you on Shabbos, you can't have a child do melacha for you on Shabbos. And this is if the kid doesn't realize, the kid is unaware, you just casually pass by, and the kid sees a light switch and he decides to flip it. So if he didn't reach the age of chinuch, then fine, then there's no issue.
Does he stop him? Does he stop him?
Only if he reached the age of chinuch. If I'm saying if it's the father and he reached the age of chinuch, you have to stop him. Or if the kid, even if not, but the kid is doing it for the adult, he knows that's why you're holding him there. So then it's also an issue. You can't have a child do malacha for you. If he's doing it for himself and he doesn't reach the age of chinuch and there's no chiyuv of chinuch, so you can leave him. But he's doing it for you, then you have to stop him. So this is in number 2. If you want a paper, right? And so he says, "Katana ivra divrei Torah lahana asay If a child is doing malacha on Shabbos for his own pleasure, he's eating nevelis oish mechal Shabbos tzarkei for his own needs. Ein based in mitzuvim la'afrishin. Based in meaning other people who are not the parents is not obligated to stop him.
What about the parents?
Oh, so soon we're going to get to that. We're going to get to chinuch. So we didn't get to chinuch yet.
No, but it's not an issue of chinuch. It's an issue of the stam.
Of what?
Of stam. It's also for them to do it. They're hired to do it. Ein beitin chayav la'afrisho.
Yeah.
Why? Why should beitin get involved?
Because the kid's not doing it isser. So machlekes in the Gemara, the basin has to get involved.
No, but I'm saying, why should the beitin get involved in the first place? It's not their child.
With us halacha, we're saying they're not obligated. They're not.
I know, but why even have a mean that beitin should get involved? If you have an orphan, the beitin gets involved.
So there's a machlekes in the Gemara. How do you read the pasuk leiseichlu? Does it mean don't let them? How do you read the pasukim? Does it mean don't let them eat? Don't let them eat something not kosher? It doesn't mean don't feed it to them. So machlekes in the Gemara. There's a havamina that basin is mitzvah to stop it. That basin is mechuyev to stop them. The halacha is that other people are not the parents, are not mechuyev to stop them from doing yisur.
It's not kol yisur avim zeh.
So he's not doing it isur.
No, I'm saying why would he said why would Bedin it was machay? Have havamina.
Oh, what's havamina?
Because kol yisur avim zeh.
Can say
Maybe you could say, I mean, this might sound crazy, maybe you could say the phrase "ein based in mitzuvim lafrisha" means that the etzem it's not asur. Minat Torah, the etzem it's not asur. And maybe that's just the way it's saying.
I mean, it could be the shayt the havamina is also that maybe other people have a chiv of chinuch. Maybe other people are also responsible to help the other people's children. But halacha is that they're not. So it goes on weiter. The part that I put in bold, this is an important part for us now. If the child is doing it for an adult, even if it's not the father, midrabanan you're mechuyev you have to stop the child from doing the malacha for you if he's doing it for an adult. You learn this out from the Mishnah in Shabbos that if someone's house is on fire, right? In a case where there is no life, there's no risk of anyone getting injured. So if a non-Jew comes to turn off the light to put out the fire, you don't have to stop him because he knows he's going to get rewarded for it. So, but ultimately he's thinking about for himself, he's not doing it just for the Jewish person. But if a child comes to put out the fire, you have to stop him because the child is doing it for the owner of the house. So we learn out from there that a child who does a malacha for an adult, regardless if he's doing it for the adult, even if he's not the parents, there's no chiv of chinuch, you have to stop him from doing it for you. So back to the question of holding the kid on Shabbos next to a light switch, and hoping that he'll flip it on or off. So if the child knows that's why you're holding him there, that's the issue. You can't let him do it.
But you're doing it in purpose.
Yeah, but the issue is who is he doing it for? That's what you're doing.
Let's say the room is dark and he said, you want me to read you a book? And he's like, but there's no light. And you take him next to the switch. So he will turn on the switch because he wanted to read him the book. So he's doing it for himself, but you want the light also.
But he wants them. He knows you want him to turn on the light. If you bring him to light, he knows that's the reason you're bringing him there. If you tell him go play in that room and the light is and the light's off and he turns on the light in order that he can play, then
I have a mitzvah. I have a chiyuv to tell him not to do it.
So in a case like that, maybe not. Saying who's he doing? He's doing it for him. He's saying he's doing it for himself. Ultimately.
Even if he's doing it for himself, like you said before, I have a chiyuv to tell him not to do it.
No, not if he. No, only if he's doing it for an adult. If he's like because he's 15 months and he's a year and a half old, saying he doesn't understand that you're not supposed to do things on Shabbos, so you're not mechuyev to stop him. So such a kid, if you're standing next to the light switch and he turns it off on his own, it's fine.
For himself.
For himself, if he's doing it just for fun. If he knows that's the reason you're holding him there and you're looking at the switch and hinting, that's also. If he knows the routine that you always walk by the switch in order to do it, that's the issue.
Two questions. Let's say I thought what you said was that if there was a fire, a child is not allowed to put it out.
If there's no life and death.
There's no life and death.
Yeah.
But just the idea that there's a child means that there's an issue of life and death because the child is not By
Right.
nature,
Let's say
it's
everyone's
not,
outside the house is in a
oh,
clearing.
I see.
we're
Oh, I
saying
see. I
it's
see.
in such- in
Not
such a
in the
case.
house. No.
Yeah.
The second thing is, can a child go? If, let's say, if parents are in one of these hotels where you have to go through a beam to get through the front door.
The electric doors.
Yeah. Can the child go through the beam, or that's not allowed because it's usher because it's one of the 39 malachot?
And also, if he's doing it for you,
Yes. Yeah.
If he reached the age of chinuch, you have to tell him you can't do that on Shabbos.
Wow.
In Brooklyn for like.
And what's the age of chinuch?
Oh, so we're gonna. It's about between 2 and 3. We're gonna see soon.
It's not so clear that these beams are also really. I mean, in general, people are makar about it, but it's really not so clear that it's also because there's no physical contact involved.
It gets into the question of grama. Right, the halacha, where I don't think anyone says it's mutter.
When you say halacha, what does that mean? I mean, in general,
Practically,
people are makar
what do the rabbanim say?
Huh?
Yeah, that's what I mean.
But I'm saying that doesn't mean that's absolute halacha. I mean, people.
But the practical halacha, your Rav is going to tell you that's the halacha.
Okay, so some Rav, I'm going to say, according to the Talmud, there's no physical contact.
Not some Rav. You need to have a big Rav.
My Rav says for why that is.
Fine, going on weiter. And
But you say
first one,
for me is
Yeah.
doesn't mean it's telephone, right? It's
Depends for what?
probability. It's a slim out the
No,
rabbanim.
but I
It's
heard
also a
that.
kilo.
Yeah.
The second one, what does that mean?
It's a question of
Heard
people
that
move.
also.
When you come out, eating something that's not kosher.
in the first
Yeah,
line,
the first number one.
the first line, the first line.
The first and second one.
It's a 2 or 1.
What's the issue of what's from? To rent trafers?
Any making a child do any issur, shayfus, or giving him something to carry on trust. So there's 3 psukim. There's one by eating blood, drinking blood. One is by shkatzim or ramashim.
What's the second one?
Shkatzim or ramashim, not kosher
Shkatzim
bugs.
is insect bug.
Yeah, and the third one is by tumas koyanim, becoming tamid. All those 3, from those 3 psukim, we learn out that there's an issur for the adult to make a child do it, and from there we learn out the kol kula. We learn out the entire Torah that any issur that making
Any
a child,
not just anything
Yeah.
involving eating.
putting clothes on a child which is made out of kalayim, it's also it's a daraisa.
Right.
And fine. So going on weiter. So yeah. So that's the light switch is saying is you're not allowed to tell a kid you're not allowed to tell or hint for a kid to do a light switch. If the kid didn't reach to turn off light switches or to carry things on Shabbos, if he does it on his own, so if he didn't reach the age of chinuch, so then you don't have to say anything. And if he's not doing it for the adult. So the question is, where did this misconception come from that people think it's okay to have children do things for you on Shabbos, to wear backpacks to shul and to
Carry a sitter.
yeah. So where does that come from? So there's a halacha. There is a certain case where chachamim were mater a child to do a isur d'rabbanan, something which is only rabbinically forbidden. There's a certain case where chachamim were mater for the child to do it in order that the adult shouldn't come to do a bigger isur. What is that? The halacha, there's a discussion of what happens if you're traveling on Erev Shabbos and you're not going to make it home before Shabbos comes in, and you have a lot of money with you. What do? So Chachamim are worried. They know that naturally it's hard for people to let their money go like that. So they said if you have an animal with you, so put it on the animal, let the animal carry it. What if you don't have an animal and you have a child with you? So they said if you have a child which is not bar mitzvah, even though you reach the age of chinuch, in this case, since we're worried that the adult is going to come to carry it himself, you could give it to the child to carry for you. But on condition that the child is only doing a rabbinical provision. Meaning, so the Gemara says if it's a reshus harabin, midraisa. So we'll see the Alter Rebbe says you have to give it to him once he already started walking, in order that he doesn't do a akira, and you have to take it from him before he stops walking. Because if you give the wallet to the kid to carry, and he starts walking and he stops, the child did Issa Deraisa, you made the child do Issa Deraisa. And that's the Issa Deraisa for the adult. Therefore you can't do that even in such a case.
So what's the answer? How do you? I mean, that's always going to happen, no?
What's always going to
I
happen?
mean, that he's going to start and stop.
So you would have
until he
to,
goes home.
right? So it would have to be. You would have to make sure it's not. So this is a specific case. So there's this in this case in the Gemara, the Chachamim were matir for a child to do a Isser D'Rabbanan. So the question that comes up is, there's a big machlekes Hashem. Could you apply it to other cases?
And what would be the Rabbanan? How would he do it?
So because the Isser Minatayt of carrying is only if you picked it up and you put it down.
Right.
So if you gave someone who was walking and you gave it to him while he was walking and you took it from him before he stopped, so the person never picked it up and he never put it down.
Okay.
So therefore it's only midrabanan. So we're trying to figure out where does this conception come that people have when they allow that it's okay to have children do things for you on Shabbos. So it's from so there's this case for a chacham or a matir, a child, to do something which is only asim midrabanan. The big machlekes is, could you apply it to other cases? Other cases where there's a great need, and there's a great need for having malacha done on Shabbos, midrabanan, a issa d'Rabbanan. Could you have a child do it for you on Shabbos? Most of the Rishonim say that you can't. That is also, you're not allowed to have a child do it for you on Shabbos. There is a shitta of the Rashba. The Rashba has the opinion that it's okay. that in certain cases of great need. So this is a big machlekes. So generally the halacha is that it's usher. If there is a case, sometimes if it's only Isra Rabbanon and it's not stamazai, it means that there's not a real need. It's like you went away for Shabbos and you forgot to bring the pacifiers and your kid can't sleep, and he's gonna be up half the night. So that's so you have to. So that's the case where that's the shayla where to ask her up. And even then it would only be mutter if it's a Isser D'Rabbanan. If it's a real Rosh Hashanah, which like Eastern Parkway, according to a lot of places say it's Isser D'Raisa, it's a Rosh Hashanah. There's no heter. There's no heter for a child to do such a thing. So let's read this inside, number 3. The Alter Rebbe says this in Siman Reish Samach Vav, Sif Yud. So what do you do if you're traveling on Shabbos and you don't have and you have your wallet with you? So he says, you could give the wallet to the child even if he reached the age of chinuch, and even though he's your child, nevertheless, the obligation to be mechanech him is only midrabanan. And the chachamim were matir to do this in order that you shouldn't come to do it on your own. Now the Alter Rebbe says still you have to be careful that you don't do a Isser D'Raisa. When we call Makim Kishenesnei Loi, when you give it to him, I feel a Chedesh V'Sheita, or even if you give it to a Sheita or a deaf mute, you have to give it to them after they already started walking. Then you have to take it back from them before they stop. In order that they shouldn't pick it up and put it down. Commission is as explained earlier. Why? The kid's not bar mitzvah. What's the issue if he does akira na'anachon? He says, even though the adult is not obligated to, even though you're not mechuyev to make sure the children rest on Shabbos, there's an Isser D'Raisa to feed something not kosher to a child. Again, will be explained in Siman Shemem Gimel. So too over here, there's Isser D'Raisa. I'll tell you about fears in the 3rd paragraph, number 3. This that you give the child the wallet to carry for you on Shabbos, before Shabbos, even though you gave it to him before Shabbos started, you call makim kivin she'edea she'elichu v'Shabbos, since you know the child is going to carry it for you on Shabbos. Ledas came lahem, and this is the reason why you gave it to him. Giving him something to carry for you on Shabbos is as good as feeding him something not kosher, and which is a Isser D'Raisa for the adult. Therefore, the only heter, even in such an extreme case like this, is only if the child doesn't pick it up and doesn't put it down. That you take it from him and give it to him. Then there is no Isser min HaTorah. So you see, it's a very serious shayla having a kid carry things for you on Shabbos. If it's a shus rabim, it's a deraisa for the adult. You didn't save anything by having the child do it. You still the adult did this by making a child do it. So the only question is, sometimes by Issa D'Rabbanan, in extreme cases, there's machlekes if you could be maker. So maybe that's a shayla and even then there's more room. Even then, even if there's a extreme shayla, if there is a real need, you have a guy do it before a child. It's more make it. You have a guy do it first. According to a lot of chachamim, according to a lot of rishonim, there is no heter to have a child do something even asur midrabanan. So maybe if any shayla comes up and if something needs to be done, the first option is have a guy do it, and if there's no guy and there's only a child, so we're talking if it's an important case, like I'm saying like you said before, the child doesn't have his pacifier, you don't have food for the child to eat.
It's very hard in the house, and you want to do
and you can. I don't think that's such a.
Well, they're older people, somebody that's 75, 80. I'm saying usually it's not such a big seder. Usually the air conditioner on, it's uncomfortable. It's not you're uncomfortable, but it's not such a.
Over Shabbos sometimes the air conditioner does not. We call it a goy.
So a goy is different. There's more room to be made with a goy, but with a kid. Who says you can be made with a kid? Also, Shayim say you can't have a kid do even Issa D'Rabbanan.
So a goy could do it on. Poor goy could turn on the air conditioning.
Not always. It depends. Depends how hot it is. It's just a little bit uncomfortable. If it's causing people a lot of tsar, but making tsar, if it's causing a serious discomfort, like if people aren't able to sleep at night, it's not just you're a little bit uncomfortable. This is a little bit uncomfortable. Okay, you'll manage. Like, you're not going to be able to sleep at night. You're gonna be up until 2 in the morning, and it's making you a smench. So then there's room to be makel to have a guy do something which is only asur midrabanan. Making tsar. So I'm saying if you go like the person that that electricity is only asur midrabanan, so then there's room to have a guy turn on the air conditioner if it's very hot.
That's up there, it's on the ground. That's up there, electricity is on the ground.
Right, yeah, there are some shittas that is the Raisa. Yeah, but when it comes to having a child do things on Shabbos, the general halach is it's asur, and if it's important, you have a guy do it. And if it's a serious case, you can't have it done any other way. So then, okay, then you have a child to ask it out if you could be making on such a case. Right. So going on weiter. What about chinuch? From when do you need to stop the kid from doing malach on Shabbos? So the Alter Rebbe has the Alter Rebbe passes like the Magen Avraham that only the father has obligation to be mechaneh of chinuch. According to the Alter Rebbe and the Magen Avraham, the mother doesn't have a chiv of chinuch, even though it's funny half the chinuch comes from the mother, but
maybe even more. Yeah,
still the chiv, the obligation is on the father. This is in number 4. The Alter Rebbe says, this that we said that if a child is doing malacha, you don't have to stop him. This is if it's other people. Aviv, the father, kiven shu mitzuva medivrei seifrim mechanech his b'nai. Since the chachamim were mechayivim to be mechanech his children, his son, a bita or his daughter, afil b'mitzvahs aseh, mishigir l'chinuch, once they reach the age. Kol shekein, how much more so shemechuyev medivrei seifrim ligar behem ulahafrisham. How much more so you're obligated to tell them off and stop them from milaver aleisasei, to do a isser from doing a isser d'raisa. Va'afilu al isser shel divrei seifrim. And even there's a chiyuv to stop him from doing a isser d'rabanan. But then Alter Rebbe finishes avol imay ein mitzvah alav klal bein mitzvahs asay bein aleisasei. The mother has no chiyuv of chinuch, aside for asay and aside for aleisasei. And so Melos coming back, and so this is the shit of the Alter Rebbe. The Mishavura brings down some other places who argue, and they say that the mother also has a chiv of chinuch. There is such a shit. The Alter Rebbe paskins that the chiv of chinuch is only on the father.
This is
But why-
reach age.
Right. So
But
what?
why didn't we say in the beginning that it's not chinuch, that that it's in the Torah?
Right. That's to make him do
to make
Isser.
him, but-
To make a child do
okay.
Isser,
But lahafrisha is
Hafrishay, that's chinuch.
that's not okay.
Unless the child is doing it for the adult. If the child is doing it for an adult, then regardless of chinuch, you have to stop it.
So the parents see the kid doing something, the father has the mitzvah to tell him no, but the mother could keep quiet and let him do it.
Al pi halacha, yeah, it's not recommended, but the mother should also be mechanech her children. But al pi halacha, it's the father has the chiyuv.
So if I see a kid in shul doing something wrong on Shabbos, I don't have the mitzvah to tell him to stop.
Someone else's kid?
Yeah.
You don't? No. So maybe in Ahavas Yisrael, if the kid will listen to you and you can have the hashpah on him, so maybe then it will be recommended. But there's not the chiyuv al pi halacha, there isn't. So the father has a chiyuv of chinuch. So what age? From what age is there a chiyuv to be mechanechim? So the Alter Rebbe makes a chiluk between mitzvahs aseis and mitzvahs leis aseis. A mitzvahs asay, it depends on each mitzvah. Certain mitzvahs making kiddush. In order to do the mitzvah of kiddush, the kid needs to understand what's Shabbos. The Eibusher gave us Shabbos to rest, so he needs to be old enough to understand that. When it comes to tzitzis, he needs to know how to put on it, how to wrap himself in a talis, how to do things properly. Netilas Yadayim, he needs to know how to do Netilas Yadayim. So each mitzvah, whenever the kid becomes of the age that he is able to do it, that's when the chiyuv starts. So mitzvahs asay, every mitzvah is different. And so that's it. So number 5. And Alter Rebbe says, "V'shir hachinuch b'mitzvahs asay hu b'chol tinik l'ti charifusay." Each child, according to his intelligence, b'yadiyasay, and his knowledge, b'chol davar l'fi inyanav, according to what it is. Kagain, for example, hayedea me'inyan Shabbos, a child who knows about Shabbos, that Hashem created the world and He gave us a day to rest. Chay lishmaya kiddush v'havdalah. He is obligated to hear kiddush and havdalah. Hayedea lis'atif kahalacha, a child who knows how to put on the talis properly according to halacha. Chayiv b'tzitzis, k'may shekasa b'simin yazayin. V'chein kol k'yetzav b'zeh. So too, all other mitzvahs, vein b'mitzvahs asi shel teiro, vein b'shel divrei seifim. Whether it's midaraisa or midarabanan. Once he reaches the age where he is capable of fulfilling this mitzvah properly and knowing how to do it, that's when the father has a chiyuv to teach him. What about for isurim? From what age do you have to tell the kids not to do things? So Alter Rebbe says that there's one shear for all of them. The shear is when the kid is unable to understand, we don't do this. You don't do this. You're not supposed to do this. The kid doesn't even understand why, or he doesn't understand why. As long as he can understand, you're not supposed to do this. He already reached the age of chinuch. So that's between 2 and 3. So that's in the second paragraph of 5.
Okay, but wait, but this would be Surah Daraisa, right?
Even for Darabanan.
Well, let's say Muktzah. When they start to tell a kid Muktzah toys.
So once you reach the age of chinuch, you should tell him. Yeah, it starts.
And depends how intelligent is the kid.
What?
Depends how intelligent the kid. How smart is the kid? Some kid at 2.5
It's a hard idea for adults to understand. I've never learned this.
Once the kid can understand that these things we don't touch on Shabbos, so then...
No, because I'm thinking back. Remember, they're very little. But I'm just saying, maybe there's some leeway.
And so we'll see what Alter Rebbe says. In the second paragraph in 5, Alter Rebbe says, when it comes to chinuch for isurim of leisasei, bein shel teira, bein shel divreim, whether isur deraisa or derabanan, hu bechol tiniklev shehu bar havana. Any child which is a bar havana, meaning shenevin kishayim leishazeh asher lasis, that he could understand when you tell him you're not allowed to do this, or you're not allowed to eat this. That's you have the chiyuv to tell him. Aval tinik sheina bar havana klal, he doesn't understand at all. Ein aviv, meaning he doesn't understand that you're not supposed to do this. Ein aviv mitzuva lamani, you tell him not to do this, and in a second, and 2 minutes later he's doing it again, unaware that he's doing something wrong. if the father's not mechiv to stop him, on the second side of the page about karchay, mila echel ma'achalis asuris. The father's not mechiv to stop him even from eating not kosher things. Or from doing chil Shabbos, afilu be'isur shel teira, even if it's a isur deiraisa. Kivan she'ein making klal the inyan masha meina imafrishi. Since the kid doesn't get at all what you're trying to stop him to do, so therefore there is no chiva chinuch because he can't be mechanech him if he doesn't get it. So so holding a kid, so if the kid reached that age, you have to stop him. So holding the kid by the light switch, hoping he turns off the light. So if the kid is old enough that he understands that you're not supposed to do this to the father, you can't do that with him. And so that's regard to having kids do Yisurim on Shabbos. And whatever. So essentially, now the Alter Rebbe says that even the father, if he didn't reach the age of chinuch, he could let him eat nevelis and treifas. He could let him eat achalis hasuris. So obviously, this is highly unrecommended. If a parent cares about his children, obviously the father should not let him do this. And this is because the thing eating not kosher things is metamtam aliv al moyach. And ad kedei kach that even that in there's machlekes Rishonim if a child can nurse from a not Jewish mother. So some Rishonim say that it's asur, and the halacha the Rama passing is that it's not asur, but you still shouldn't do it because it's metamtam aliv al moyach. Drinking milk from a geisha mother is metamtam aliv al moyach. It's going to do this.
Is that the concept of cholovakum?
Not mitzad cholovakum. And it's a real cholovakum. And the reason the Ritva says the reason for it is because since they eat not kosher things, therefore since the milk is coming from not kosher animals, therefore even the milk, even though they're not eating the actual not kosher things, even though you think it went through some filtration, but still it's metamtam aliv al moyach. And a child should not feed from a geisha mother unless there's nothing else, unless there's no one else to nurse from. And so much so that Rama says even if the mother ate something which wasn't kosher, the Jewish mother should also not nurse her child if she ate something not kosher.
In fact, Yossi Paltil mentioned one of the reasons, or Paltil mentioned in one of the reasons why during Shavuos.
Because he wouldn't nurse for any of the not Jewish mothers.
Yeah.
Until Shavuos when he came to his mother.
Yeah.
And what's even more interesting though, the Taz adds onto the Ramah. The Ramah says if the mother eats something not kosher, she shouldn't nurse her child. The Taz says that's even if she was allowed to eat this thing which is not kosher. Meaning also she has pikuach nefesh.
That's if she was sick and
she was sick, that's pikuach nefesh, and she had to eat something not kosher. Still, she shouldn't nurse her child. Yeah, I'm not sure how long you have to wait. 6 hours. I'm not sure.
Maybe 24 hours.
For 24 hours. I'm not sure what the shear is.
How about parents that have their child like 3 years old to do something else on Shabbos, like the kid would carry a bag of food and tip for the kid to eat in shul. The kid's not aware of it, but the father is making the kid come to shul and carrying on the layer.
So
is that permitted?
that's a very sincere. It's a very big issue. It could be an issue deraisa.
But the kid is only 3 years old.
Right, but the adult is making him do it. If the child did it on his own, the child he said, "Okay, we're going to shul," and the kid took his pacifier and he took his stuff with him on his own. So you didn't make the child do it, and if there's no chiyuv, and he didn't reach the age of chinuch, so you don't have to stop him. But if you give the kid the backpack to carry to shul, so if you're going through a Shabbos Rabbi, so then the adult did Isser deraisa. The child isn't doing it Isser, but if you made the child do it Isser, the adult did it Isser.
You said before that a father even give the child who's that age doesn't know what's right and wrong.
He doesn't need to stop him. He doesn't need to stop him. But to tell him to do something Isser, to make him do something Isser, if an adult tells a child to turn on a light switch, especially if it's an incandescent bulb, the father did a Isser deraisa. There's no difference if he turned it on or if he told the kid to do it. it's a different isser. One is chil Shabbos and one is isser leisechlum. We learned this out from the pasuk. The pasuk says leisechlum dam. You should leisechlum dam. You shouldn't eat blood. And the Gemara learns out that the Gemara reads it leisachilum. You shouldn't feed it. So we learn out from the pasuk that there's a isser min ha'Torah. There's a biblical prohibition to give something not kosher to a child, or to make him do something he's not supposed to do. So to put clothes which is made out of kalayim shatnez, to put it on a child, even if he's 1 day old, it's a biblical isser for the father. The father did isser, not the child. Telling a child to carry something in a Rishus HaRabin, the father did isser deraisa, not the child. So it doesn't help anything. It's telling a child to turn on a light switch is a bigger isser than the father turning it and hitting it with his elbow. Hitting with your elbow is for sure only asr midrabbanan, right? That's for sure only rabbinically forbidden. But for the child to do it, that's the child to turn on normally. That's isser deraisa for the father.
I noticed you said incandescent. So what's the
right? So there's questions. Other LED. Other types of
not fluorescent.
Fluorescent. I don't know. I don't know what the name of fluorescent is. I just know incandescent. I think most places say is isser deraisa.
But even with the incandescent, you're not reading any fakala or anything like that.
Right, but it makes light and it gives off heat. So I think a lot of the questions, what's the main... A fire has I guess you can split up into 4 things. That's a flame, it gives off light, it gives off heat, and it leaves the ash. So the question is, what are the main things?
Yeah, but that's exactly what I'm saying.
So the question is, what are the main components of fire? So what I understood, the majority of the places say that if it gives off fire and it gives off heat, that it's isser deraisa.
Even though there's no ash.
That's what I remember. Yes. And so that's halacha with carrying things on Shabbos. And and also so even though you're not allowed to stop a kid, but if I'm saying it's virtually not healthy for the kid to do yisurim. And what about for a child? A child needs something on Shabbos. The child needs his. So we're not talking anymore about children doing yisurim, but could you have a guy do things for a child on Shabbos? So the halacha is you're also not allowed to have a guy do things for you on Shabbos, except for in certain cases. One of the cases you can have a guy do things for you on Shabbos is for a sick person. If a person who is sick to the point that he's bedridden, and his whole body his whole body is weakened, and he has something he needs, so you can have a guy do it for him on Shabbos, even if it's a isser min ha'Torah, even if it's a biblical prohibition. So the halacha is that for a child we're also lenient, that we treat all children like a chayla she'im b'sakana. We treat all children like a sick person, and if there's something that there's a sincere, a real need for the child, you can have a guy do it, even if it's a biblical prohibition. So if the child doesn't have his pacifier, or he run away and he doesn't have it, or he doesn't have the food he needs, so you could tell a guy to go to the store and buy it for him. You could tell a guy to go drive a car to do any yisur.
I learned that there's also an exception for tzibur, like if you put on the air conditioner in the shul. Privately, you have to tell the guy to do it for tzibur in your life, right?
Right, so that's another question, yeah, for tzibur. Yeah, that changes some things.
Well, you said only if it's very...
right, we're not just talking about it's a little bit uncomfortable. We're not just talking about it's a little bit uncomfortable. We're talking about it that it's very hot. Yeah. There is a truth from Rav Moshe that someone asked about if I remember correctly, he's about this question, turning on the air conditioner. So he says, Rav Moshe actually said, it's usher, go to a different shul. Why? You don't have to daven in that shul, go to a different shul.
He holds air conditioners for the club also.
What?
He holds air conditioners for the club also.
Everyone agrees they're usher. To leave them on from before Shabbos.
Make noise, so it's like
But today everybody has it.
Today that was not a sermon, it wasn't possible. Maybe it's commercial, we should toss it.
And fine, so that's so the halacha, so certain cases, certain need for our kids who are able to have going and do things for them when they need it. This is in the 8th Maramakli, and Alter Rebbe says, number 8, if the child needs something, Kagoyin shehuksas chayla, he's a little bit sick. Mutar leimar lenachri lahachile. You're allowed to tell a guy to give him something not kosher, even though the adult is not allowed to give it to him because that's issa deraisa. You can tell a guy to do it. Shetzarchi katan dinam kechayla she'im beisakana. It's like a chayla she'im beisakana. She'tiru v'yamila nachri afilu b'surei teira. Even by surei teira or mater for a guy to do it for them. Kameshin isbar v'simishin chavches. So. Yeah, so we see from here you can have a guy do any isser that even deraisa for a child, and the question is till what age does a child have the status of a chayla shein beisakana? Until what age? So Chayina takes a more stricter opinion. He says that until as long as the kid doesn't eat regular foods. Once the kid is old enough that he eats the same everything the adults eat, he eats the same food. He doesn't eat any special food. Then he doesn't have the din of a chayla shein beisakana.
It could be like 2 years old already.
I guess so. Yeah.
Some 2-year-old kids start eating like adult.
2, 3. Okay, yeah. And the Minchas Yitzchak, he's a lot more makel. He says he compares it to Yom Kippur. He says the age is until 9. Until 9 years old, the child has the din of a chayla shein beisakana. So just like on Yom Kippur, the halacha is a child is not allowed to fast, even for a short period, and even if he wants to, you have to stop him. So until the age of 9. So he says the same thing with Shabbos. Shabbos, what age do we treat a child like a chayla that we're worried he's going to get like a sick person? It's until the age of 9. This is the Minchas Yitzchak's shita. And so the next child is what about feeding a child milk after meat? So if the child does it on his own, so you're not allowed to stop him. But we said before, you're not allowed to feed something not kosher to the child. You're not allowed to feed something he's not allowed to eat. So that is depending on the age. There's room to be makel. That there's a in number 11 there's a letter from Zalman Shimon Dvorkin that in regards to, he says for a very young child, for sure after an hour you could an hour after meat you could give him milk, have him eat or drink something else in between, and then you can already give him milk. He says if the child is older, he's not so weak, he's stronger, but if he's but he's still under the age of bar mitzvah. So if it's hard for him, he says he could be makel. If it's hard for him, he could be made. Ideally he should wait 6 hours, but if it's hard, he could be makel at 3 hours. And for young children who go to sleep with the bottle and they have a heart and they need the bottle. So even though he says here you should try to wait an hour. If the kid can't wait an hour, so there's room to be makel. So there's room to be makel more. To give him try to feed him something else in between. Try to have him rinse out and give the kid some water to drink. So
just don't feed him meat before an hour before he goes to sleep.
Yeah, I was thinking about if it happens, then you need that there's room to be makel if there's a tzedach.
You know the kid's going to sleep with a bottle of milk, so 3 hours before stop giving him meat.
Yeah. Say there.
9 years old. Years ago, they used to give medicine for kids based on age. Then they changed it. It's based on weight. It's not every 9 years old it has the same bill. So they changed the American Medical Association.
But
goes on weight now, not on age.
But that has to do with
based on dosage, to give.
Right, but that has to do with quantity, with dosage. It doesn't have to do with overall how strong or weak the child is. It just means how much of the medicine does he need for his body.
No, so years old, it said up to now after each age, you give a certain amount of dosage. But then, so not everybody at that age is the same bill. So they go by age. It's saying that at 9 years old, because should fast. After 9 should not fast any kipper. But what if 10 years old is weak and it's morning? Okay, it's chronologically.
So it talks about that. So the Shulchan Aruch talks about that. If he's older but he's weak, so there is a discussion about that.
Or an 8 years old who's robust.
But still, we have a flat. He's not a chiyuv to do anything until he's 9 years old. Even if he's strong, he still shouldn't. He still shouldn't fast until 9. Right. So if the kid is 9 years old and he's still weak, so then there is room. There's a discussion about that. There is.